Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino. I am the CEO and founder of K9 for Veterans. Tonight, I've got two really special people with me. I'd like to introduce my guests as Doug Jackson and Gina Woods, and they're both from the War Dog Charity Riders. You know what? I'm going to start out with a real simple question. How long has your veterans organization been involved in raising funds for veterans? How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been in the motorcycle industry for about 40 years, Michael, and we've done a lot of rides and fundraisers. This one has caught our attention and our hearts and souls for about, we've been supporting K9 for Vets for about 4 or 5 years now.
At least, yeah.
And you know, our CEO, kicked this thing off with a small group, Stephen Pinsler.
Steve, good guy.
And he's been a great leader
doing?
for us.
Good.
He's doing much better.
He's back.
And so, 6-7 years now.
What inspires you to do a motorcycle run, though? I mean, there's other ways you could have raised money. You could have done a benefit. You could have had dances. You could have had whatever. What inspired you? Well, of course, silly question. You come from a motorcycle background.
Yeah, I grew up racing bikes. In fact, I'll be going to a funeral tomorrow. My uncle, who got me into motorcycle racing, and it was 11 or 12 years of age. So
You've been doing it a while, yeah.
Well, he came out of he got out of Vietnam War, came home, and was drinking a little too much, and started he wanted to race motorcycles. So he pulled me along, and I'm a non-drinker, but that's because of the motorcycles, really.
Yeah, they don't mix. It doesn't mix, yeah.
Not necessary for me. I was buying chains and sprockets instead of buying booze, right?
Doug, how many veterans do you have that are actually involved in the planning of your group? Do you have many?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's several that come out of the, they just come out of the wood when you start planning a ride. They'll take rides with me. We'll start planning our ride routes, and they're quiet, unassuming for the most part, right? They're very introspective in their approach, but we'll have 20, 30 guys that just want to help for the rides.
And if I could pipe in, we've got a ride coming up.
Yes, we do. Please.
Tell us about the ride that's coming up, Steve.
Please, no.
And again, all the funds are going to K9 for Veterans. Just thought I'd point that out.
Are they this year? I wasn't sure of that.
Whoa,
wait a minute. wait, he says. Tell us about
Well,
the
Doug
ride,
always prepares the ride and does a great job with his compadres, and always a great route. And we end up somewhere nice and have a nice lunch and big raffles and a band, and we just have a really great time. And ours is coming up very soon.
Yes, on the 2nd of June.
June
2nd.
2nd. I've been to a number of the kickoffs for the rides and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of events where they do a lot of rides. War Dogs, your kickoff party is just organized so well. It really is.
That's good to hear.
Typically,
We feel like it isn't, but no, I'm kidding.
Typically,
That's
there's a lot of
wonderful.
confusion, where you're signing
Yeah.
up, adding wristbands and all that other whatever. But War Dogs, it runs and it's a smooth, well-oiled machine.
We've already had quite a few meetings, and Christine really gets everybody in ship-shape order, and she really mans that whole organization pretty well.
We also have our service dogs that you've sponsored, quite a few of them, so they even come to help with the kickoff for the bike run.
And people love that.
And they're excited.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, these veterans that you've sponsored, I'm going to tell you right now, were a game changer in their life. They thank me all the time for your sponsorship to making their life better. So,
Thank you.
Bar none, hands down, what you've done and the money you've raised going to these veterans impacted their life like I can't even begin to tell you.
It's a lot of fun to have them.
They're so thankful
At the event.
and they love coming to your events because they know what you're doing it to help another veteran get another service dog.
Well, and it's very obvious to everybody that It's just from the depths of our heart and soul.
Without a doubt, heart and soul.
You know what, Michael? I want to share something with you. You mentioned so our last ride. One of the fathers of our veterans came up to me, introduced himself to me, and said, "I want you to know that your organization saved my son's life."
Wow.
And we know we're doing a lot of good, but for somebody to look you in the eyes
But when you
like
hear
that,
it,
and usually I cry when I tell that story because it just rocks my soul, because the young man Ben, unassuming young man, I'm not sure how old he is, probably 30-ish,
in the early
32.
30s.
Doesn't matter really, but his dad said, you know, he was living in our basement, and he used those words, a shell of a young man. We couldn't get him engaged, couldn't get him out of the basement when he came home.
Right.
And
I
your
know.
support for K9 for Vets, think about it. It's just simple that he has to get out of the basement, take the dog for a walk. Now he's got to love somebody more.
Right.
He obviously loves
He's got
himself.
a reason to get out of bed now.
Yes.
He's got a purpose.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
But I was telling, so I had this at work today, and the guys were asking me about it, and I said, you know, do you know this number 22? And it's probably more than that.
It is.
And I said, what I'm so proud of is when we're able to get a dog, you know, through K9 for Vets, that we've not lost any of those people.
We haven't lot. We've got over 136 veterans in our program that we provided dogs for.
Yeah.
And I'm proud and really happy to say that we have not lost one veteran to PTSD suicide.
Fantastic.
These dogs are,
That's
I'm going to tell
amazing.
you know, you're talking about that young man. Well, I interviewed him first, and I had to drag words out of his mouth to have a conversation with him. That's how withdrawn he was.
Wow.
Now he's like chatty catty,
Yeah.
and he cannot wait to go to your events. He is so thankful for what you've done for him and how you changed his life. He volunteers for you guys now.
Well, he rides with us.
He
That's
rides.
what his dad said. Is,
Yeah.
It's one thing you give him a dog, but you've embraced a young man into the fold of your organization.
And there's not many organizations like the War Dog Charity Riders that put their heart and soul in doing it for the right reason. You're not looking for any accolades. I know that. I mean, I've tried to do it many times for you, and they're always, nope, that's enough. We don't need to go. We don't need to go any further than that. So, you
It's
know,
about
so I'm
those
really,
veterans, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what makes what you do so important, because it's all about what you're doing for the veterans. It's not anything about the glory or, hey, look what we did this. It's all about how you could help a veteran.
Yeah.
And that's what I found to be an amazing part to work with War Dog Charity Riders. It's an
And they're
honor.
all volunteers, you know, we all volunteer our time, and everybody puts in their effort, and it just works good, and it's such a great cause.
Do you have a lot of companies or organizations that would help contribute to make this ride a success?
You know, we have to do a better job with our corporate sponsors. You know, Castle, for example, who donated a nice check for this year out of McHenry County, one of the largest dealerships in the United States.
Right. Great company.
Great organization. There used to be Gary Lang, who always gave us a lot of support. But we've generally relied on the ride and the income from the ride. Or generally we'll do a couple rides a year, but I've noticed that's waned over the years, because as the riders get a little bit older, the baby boomers, right? They get a little bit more reserved with, you know, their time and riding in a pack and stuff. But we lead a very safe, great ride, and I would encourage.
Oh, it's always escorted.
Yes. Oh, that's the other. Escorted by Illinois State Police Department.
They're
John Hand and his guys.
Great organization. They're always there to
County
support.
always helps us. McHenry County.
What about EMS? Are they out there as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're another great group of guys that really support our veterans and
Road docs
and all these rides and stuff. Okay, what are your when you want to plan an event? What are your biggest hurdles? What is your biggest challenges that you face?
Go ahead, Gina. You've got probably a good feel for that.
I think just the weather.
Oh
It's
yeah,
always a challenge.
Always
You
the
know.
weather. But, just being organized. And I don't think that's a challenge. And we start way ahead of time. And, just wanting to get as many people out there to support.
That's the key. Get enough riders
Yeah.
out there to help.
Yeah. And make the day just a really big success.
I can't wait to present something to you. Can we take like a pause here? Can we have a little?
you
or-
told like
Are you like that at
you
Christmas
told
time?
me you had a surprise
We
for
have a
me.
little surprise.
I think
Do I need
now's,
to sit
now's a
brace
good
myself?
time.
Huh?
Now's a good time.
Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
All right.
What are we doing?
Look at that.
Huh?
Oh my Lord, that's what you've donated to us.
That's correct.
Look at that, $25,500. War Dog Charity Riders, bar none, hands down.
For K9
Remarkable.
for veterans.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Michael.
You
I
guys are
know.
a
Thank you.
And you want to know something, Mike? Is
God bless you guys, really, girls.
through Stephen Pinsler, of course, he made a connection with you
Oh, yeah.
early on. But it's obvious to us your sincerity and how genuine and how much you care. So without you being as driven and passionate as you are, we probably wouldn't have this drive and
I wish I could
passion.
take the credit for that, but I've got such a great support staff. My vice president, Reggie Latuca, bar none, hand. I come up with a lot of good ideas, just like I'm sure you do, Steve.
I
but it takes
don't.
someone else to make them.
No, actually, we've got such a great team. Robert Parkinson he
Oh,
joined our
great guy.
and he is doing some things with Des Plaines Chamber.
I just joined them.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
I just
And,
joined the
um,
chamber.
I know we're doing the parade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing
me
a
too.
parade coming
We'll
up.
be
I wish I
there.
had the
Yeah,
date.
and-
I'm riding in a convertible.
Yes, yes.
Just thought I'd point that out.
And we're going to see if Mr. Disparty wants to go with us.
Yes. You should talk a little bit about the support we get from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead,
Larry
please.
Disparty, he's just been great advocate for motorcycle safety and for riders, and to help
Wow.
that transition between being injured and getting better and getting compensated. So, yeah,
It's just amazing.
Larry's very into the K9 for veterans, and we're looking forward to
Well,
him
the
being
day
there.
I got that call from Steve, the very first call, I thought, okay, another bike run, whatever. But the more I got to know and talk with him, Steve Pinsler, he's an amazing man himself. The more I was just gravitated to him as a person, just like I am with you and you now. I mean, it's just a family feeling. I mean,
It is a
like
family.
we know why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
You're not doing it just to do it. Okay.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah,
a really
your
good vibe
heart and soul is
to
into it.
help.
And look at the size of this check: $25,500.
Nice.
I
Well,
mean-
you put it to good use.
I mean, that's gonna get another
Yeah.
veteran of service dog. And,
Yeah.
and again, like that kid told you, it changed his life, and it's gonna change another life with this fund.
And I love that they all come out for our events and different things.
They
and
love
it's
coming
so
out to
nice
your
see
events.
them.
I mean, they really
Yeah,
do.
they do.
I have to ask them if they would you come with me to this event? And all I got to do is mention them where's it at and what time we got to be there.
Nice.
Seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
they are that.
And they always get up and talk. Sometimes
Oh,
I
yeah.
put them on the spot.
Even Shay
Shay, yeah.
loves coming to the event. With his service dog Joey and stuff like that.
Yes.
But again, it's the way you make our veterans feel when they're with you.
Thank
Like
you.
they're the most important thing in the world.
Like you mentioned, we just have a great team.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Joe. You mentioned Joey, but prompted Joe Messman, who's our treasurer. These guys, Chris.
Yeah.
Just all the people that give us the support, and we're just grateful and feel good about giving back. It's not too long ago at a holiday event, my grandkids, I had a veteran blowing up my phone. He gets a little manic sometimes, And so, it's like, Grandpa, what's going on, right? And they go to a Christian school and that sort of thing. And Grandpa had a little conversation about, Woodstock Harley with the 80-foot flagpole and
Right.
a Veterans Memorial underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, boys, because it probably 10, 15 calls in one day, right, with this one gentleman
Yeah.
on a holiday. And I said, we got to walk that talk. When these guys go to serve for our freedoms,
We're not doing enough for them.
well, that's the
We're really
kids.
not. I mean, we've got so many veterans that are homeless,
Yeah.
destitute, and we're just not doing enough. And it's because of organizations like yours and what you're doing for our veterans that we could do what we're doing for them.
But thank God for K9s for Veterans, because you guys, just one at a time, you knock it
Well,
off.
and you know what? There's always
that's
one more
what's-
veteran. That's the sad part. Just when I think, I can catch my breath, I get another phone call.
We've got another one I'm going to introduce you to.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And,
Yeah.
it's an honor and it's a privilege to be able to change their life, which you're allowing me to do by raising these funds. And like I said, it takes a small army, as you know. Like I was saying, Reggie Latuca, our vice president, bar none, hands down, she is the most dedicated person I know to our veterans and stuff.
Wow.
And the rest of our volunteer staff, I mean,
And you've helped 136.
136
Wow,
veterans.
God
And
bless.
we've been doing
That's
this for
amazing.
8 years now.
And each dog cost what?
10,000,
Yeah. So this is good for
2.5 dogs.
2.5 dogs. Yeah.
Good math skills,
We'll get
huh?
yeah, right. Hey,
math
we'll
skills.
get a small dog for the.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but it's just an amazing gift what you're doing for our veterans, and they are so appreciative. They don't even know how appreciative. When we put a veteran in our program, they'll come in and they'll be like, "Is this really for me? Is this really going to make a difference?" 2 months into that program, you couldn't pry that dog away from them.
Wow, that's
See, and the
great.
thing is,
amazing.
veteran with PTSD, they won't talk about their experiences because they don't want to burden anybody with their issues. But when they have a service dog, because the service dog, they can sit there and tell that dog the most horrific stories in the world. The dog's not going to judge them. It's going to love them unconditionally. It's not going to look at them and say, "Oh my God, you did what?" You know what I mean? And it's a release for them. And again, it gives
Michael, how
them
long have you been doing this?
8 years.
8 years. Wow, you've done
And it gives them
a
a
lot
reason to
in
get
8 years.
it
That's a lot.
gives them a reason to get up and
Good
get
for
out of
you.
bed in the morning. Where before when we come home, there's nothing for us. We're used to being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why we're doing it. We come home, we don't have they become their battle buddy.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's always got their back. Because we had that in the military, but
Sure.
when we come home, we don't have that. But these service dogs become their battle buddy. They're always there for them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, again, I know this isn't putting these rides together. It's got to be a challenge. It really does. I mean, you make it look so easy because your event runs so smooth.
It's natural for Doug.
We have a good time. Well, for our team, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy doing the ride routes and have some help doing it, so.
Yeah, but
That's a-
just the way it's organized, it's a pleasure to be there because there's no, what am I doing now? What are we doing and stuff. So, and like I said, our veterans are happy to be there. How long you plan on doing this? I hope for a long time.
Yeah.
Until he goes boating.
Yeah, you just bought a marina. Whoops. Did I let the cat out of the bag?
No, sir. No, sir.
Do you work with the VA at all? I mean, do you get any response from them for what you're doing? I mean, you're not getting enough notification. You're not getting enough notice for what you're doing, and that's I think what bothers me the most, because everything you're putting to make this work to help our veterans. You need to get more recognition. Not that you're looking for the recognition, but I want people to know that if it wasn't for organizations like yours, that our veterans would have a lot less. It's because of what you're doing for our veterans, we're able to do what we do. So again, if it wasn't for your organization, we couldn't do what we do.
Well, for us, Mike, it's extremely simple. You know, like Pinsler, when he kicked this thing off and had a handful of riders, it was just all about from day one that, you know, you talked about recognition. Think about, I talked about Vietnam, right? Think about what those guys came home to.
Oh, nothing.
And it was a horrific war, as all of them are.
And they were chastised for coming home.
Yeah, and my son.
Baby killer, they were demeaned, they were spit at. But if there's nothing else, Steve, Steve.
It's okay.
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else that came out of the Vietnam War when our veterans returned home, is that we learn how not to treat our veterans.
Right.
We, thank God, there's so many. I mean, K9 is, as far as I'm concerned, a really great organization. But there's so many more organizations out there that are doing so many good things for our veterans that the VA wouldn't do. We wouldn't know about so many different organizations and programs to help our veterans if you guys and other organizations like yours weren't stepping up the plate to say, hey, we want to help.
Well, and quite frankly, that number and should be 10 times that of what we're giving you. I think we call him Parky. Robert is on to something with casinos in the area. Pardon me, I don't remember the casinos' names right offhand. But you've been in contact with Robert. I think that conversation that he's having with
He's
the
always
casinos,
trying to think of another way, a better way, a refreshing way to raise
he's on something.
more money.
I think I'm always disappointed, quite frankly, that we're not bringing more. And we don't have bigger rides. As Gina said, the weather and that sort of thing, there's times
That's all
we have
dependent
to
on the turnout. I get it, you know.
Yeah.
But we need to do a better job with really 3 key things. And that is,
Okay.
where are we at? She's closing
I
us
just
up,
got the
or what?
5-minute warning.
Okay. We desperately need to do the things that Parky's bringing to our organization. By
Right. He's a great
reaching
guy.
out to bigger corporate organizations. So that's probably our first and foremost. We got to be thinking smarter
Well,
with how we do
you've got
that
the talent
and our
behind you to
connections.
get that done.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes.
And again, in closing, let me just say, I am so thankful for everything you do for our veterans. Doing what you do allows us to help and change the lives of 2 veterans with that donation. So, God bless you for what you're doing. Doug, you're a great guy.
Doug is our fearless leader,
Yes,
president
he is.
of
Yes. Gina, you're
War Dogs.
amazing in your own right as
Thank
well.
you.
You're
Thank you.
always there for War Dogs. You're the backbone to them. You're
Well,
a go-to
they're
person.
good people with a lot of passion.
They're-
And you could tell, and Doug is certainly a great leader in that respect because, he's got passion for people and passion for K9s and passion for motorcycles, and he just brings it all together.
Well, before I get yelled at again, let me just say I want to thank the entire group of War Dog charity riders for doing what they do to help make this check possible. So, Doug, thank you. Gina, God bless you.
Thank you.
And
Big shout out to our girl Christina, who kind of keeps goofy guys like myself and Pinsler and Parky kind of
all together. She keeps them all
and her in that
organized.
mix too.
that's like my vice president, Reggie LaDuca,
Yeah.
and co-founder, by the way. Without her, I couldn't do what I do.
Yeah,
And the rest of our volunteers,
that's correct.
you know, and it takes a small army. So thank you, and good night, and we'll see you the second Thursday of next month at 7:30 p.m. Good night and God bless.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.